And I remember thinking, how come my hand doesn't work? How come my arm doesn't work? I just didn't know why.
Yeah. Hey friends, welcome back to the Two Thumbs Up podcast. This is Dr. Todd here. I want to introduce you to one of my favorite people on the planet, Michael Hargraves. I've known Mike, oh my gosh, Mike and I have been buddies for probably since the dawn of time. So
25 years.
25 plus years. And so, I wanted to bring him on the show today. Over the last few weeks, we've emphasized brain injury, and it's one of the things we will continue to talk about on this podcast. But Mike's had a very unique experience over the last few years, and this is probably this is gonna be one of several podcasts we're gonna do with Mike because of his experience, and I want to dive into what he's learned and what the whole process, and also talk about what's next, what's the future look like, and Mike, I'm going to turn a few minutes over to you and let you tell us about yourself. Tell us actually, if you wouldn't mind, start with your what you've done for work in your life, and just give us an outline of the last 25 years.
25. Jeez, that's okay. Well, so 25 years would take me back just to my beginning of law enforcement career. So after I got out of college, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do something that I felt made a difference. And so I got into law enforcement, which in hindsight, is probably not the greatest career to choose.
But in that, though, what were some of the roles you played? What was some of the, the teams you were on and the experiences you had? So
my main focus when I got into law enforcement was to get on a SWAT team. That was my passion. That was my desires, what I wanted to do. So I looked for the team that had the most activity. And the team I found was the only full-time SWAT team in the state of Utah. It was with the Department of Corrections. Mm-hmm. So that was the only full-time, 100% full-time team out there in Utah.
And so how many years were you on that team?
Let's see, I was on the team for a little over 10 years.
10 years. Mm-hmm. And had tons of experiences.
Yeah.
Worked with a number of great guys, all of that.
They were like family.
Yeah. And you raised two sons in that time period.
Well, define raised.
Well, maybe they raised us. How about that? Yeah. You raised two sons, and we live in the great city of Saratoga, and Mike and I had, the gift of raising our boys essentially together. Same neighborhood, same football team, same environment, and so we've had a life together. But so you're in law enforcement, did that for 10 years, and then where'd life lead you?
Once I got I left law enforcement to go make money. So that was my hang up there, is I just wasn't making any money doing it, and so I wanted to make money, and I got an opportunity. I think you were around at this time. I got an opportunity to go speak.
Yeah.
And I think my first speaking engagement was Agile, wasn't it?
Could have been.
I think it
could have been, yeah.
So it was a network marketing company that turned out to not be so great.
Yeah.
But that was my first opportunity speaking, I think.
So you started in being a corporate speaker.
Yeah.
Large group speaker.
Type of motivational speaker.
Motivational speaker.
Yeah. So companies would hire me to come in and change the mindset of their employees or their teams inside their organization. And so that's what I specialized in. Well, I wrote a book.
Yes. Tell us about the book, please.
So this was right as I was starting to speak. So when I left the department, I actually became a full-time speaker for a internet company. And you did that for a little while.
Yes. Yes, I did.
And so I followed your footsteps, jumped into that, and that was after I'd spoke a few times at a few engagements at just random companies. But it wasn't anything serious, wasn't anything full-time. This was my first full-time speaking engagement.
And you traveled all over the place.
All over the country.
Yeah.
And the world.
Yeah, and the world. That's true. And what was your experience with that?
At first, I loved it. It was like, to me, it was the one thing that could replace law enforcement.
Yeah.
And I loved doing it. There was a bit of a rush to it.
Yeah.
Getting up there and, having 500 people in a room and trying to connect with them. The problem with that gig was you were selling.
Right. You were selling something.
And so I wasn't like just fully invested in what I was talking about. It was what they wanted me to say.
So it felt a little bit scripted.
Yep.
And maybe not so authentic.
No, it didn't come from me. It came from somebody else.
And
Somebody else's business.
And as you moved through that company, and you obviously started another company we were involved with, and we're fast forwarding now. This is probably, we're fast forwarding, 10 years or so, 10, 15 years.
But during that time of speaking for that corporate, what was it called?
Stores Online.
Yeah, but there was a name for the name SIG or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the process of speaking for that company, I realized I needed to have some kind of back page platform. So that's when I started writing the book.
So tell us about your book.
So when I was speaking on that circuit, I got asked all the time, "Did you write a book? Did you write a book?" And I always had to say no, and I hated that. And so I started writing a book. Like literally, I just came home one day and sat down and started writing a book.
And the name of your title of your book is?
Well, it changed over the course of time, but it's now SWAT.
SWAT. And so inside, can you outline your book a little bit about what's the premise of your book?
So the basic premise of SWAT is to be SWAT in whatever you do. Because what I realized when I was on the team, this actually came when I was speaking to these corporations out there, or these people that wanted to start corporations.
Right.
What I realized is that these guys, they didn't have any luster for anything. They just were doing their jobs. They were just,
right.
And what I realized on the team is that when you're on the team, it's a whole different outlook. Like you have a different attitude about your job. Everything about your job is different. And it's weird because what I actually realized is you can replicate that.
And replicate it in a
I call it a no-fail mindset.
No-fail mindset.
And you're going to win no matter what.
And plugging that mindset into corporate world, entrepreneurship.
Right. Anything.
Athletics. How about interpersonal relationships?
Anything. Like, your relationships, you can apply this to anything you do. If you want to win at it, you apply it. Really is what it comes down to. Awesome.
And we'll talk about, again, on another day, we will dive into SWAT, the book, and talk about some of the baseline premises behind it, in how to be self-actualized and to empower oneself. Yes.
Well, what I learned, and just to give a really high-level view of what that's about, what I learned is that when you're on a team like that, where your life is at stake every time you go out, you realize you got to perform at a different level. And it's not because you want to be good, it's because you want to survive, right?
Right.
So it's a whole different approach to, doing your job.
It's hyper-focused.
Hyper-focused because you don't want to die, number one. Number
right.
two, you don't want anybody else to die because of you. So those two things right there completely change your internal mindset.
Wow.
Completely, like night and day. And you can replicate that in anything, whether it be college, whether it be your job. You can literally replicate that in anything. And we learned that with our kids, actually. That's where I started testing it. Our kids in football. In fact, your kid, Eric, was a perfect example of that. I don't know if he ever told you this, but I pulled him aside on the field and I tested him because he's a big kid. He's fully capable. He had a lot of talent, but he just didn't decide to use it unless he really wanted to.
Yes.
And so I could see that talent, and I'm like, well, how do we get that to come out? So I just was experimenting with this theory, and I used it on Eric several times. Every time I used it, he kicked butt. Like he literally won the war at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Every time. So he was one of my inspirations.
Oh. Well, there you go, Eric. If you're listening to this, son, I love you. And
but as soon as I told him, hey, your mom or your dad is at risk, And so what are you going to do about it? Like, it just flipped something in his mind, and he realized, okay, I'm fighting for my mom and my dad now.
Wow.
And he went out there and did it, and he won every time.
So literally just empower oneself to take life on.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I say, okay, so on this next snap, if you don't win the snap, there's a chance your mom or dad could die. What are you going to do? And he's like, I'm going to go win the snap. And he did. It was just himself telling himself that. That was it. That was the only difference.
So from then on, the book, you have the book, you created the book, then you started speaking on the book and moving further into your speaking world.
Right. So then I started speaking for a actually a public company, but it's a massive company. So Genentech, which is a subsidiary of Roche, which is a huge company.
Large pharmaceutical company, spoke for them.
For a long time, I don't know, it had to be like 8 years. I did work for them.
So you did work for them, and now we're kind of coming up towards the situation that changed your life.
Yeah.
And so what year? Well, what year and month did you have your brain event?
So it was August 10th of 2019. So we're looking at almost 5 years ago.
Almost 5 years, 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why I looked at my watch.
yeah.
I thought it was going to tell me. People
But,
always do that.
yeah, it's
Never
like-
wondered why.
almost 4.5 years ago. But so tell us, Mikey. So let me back up here a little bit. Let me tell you my experience of Mike Hargraves. So you know those friends that, and this is a perfect example. So Mike and I decided to do a triathlon, and because we've swam together for years, we swim every day, every week now. We swim at least one day a week, and we swim.
Well,
And,
he swims one day a week,
well,
and he shows up on
Okay,
time.
well, let's back up here for a second. So, but Mike was the guy, you know, those friends where, you know, I can train my ass off. I can run, I can lift, I can swim, and, you know, just to keep up with Mike Hargraves. I mean, and so I remember we did this triathlon, and we'd been swimming, and I'd been working out, and we'd been riding bikes and mountain bikes, and he's always so strong, like so strong. And I'm like, the one place I can beat him on this triathlon is the run. Because I felt like I can get him on the run. This is in my own brain, right? You may not even know that. But I'm like, I can get him on the run because he's going to kick my hiney in the swim, and he's going to kick my hiney on the bike. So we do the swim. Of course, he's out of the water, I don't know, way ahead of me. I'm nearly drowning. Because that day, remember that day? It was windy out there.
Yeah.
We were out in Utah Lake, and it was windy, white
People were
capping.
throwing up in the
Yeah,
water.
like,
Yeah.
why are we out here? And so Mike's out of the water, and he's on the run. Let's see, yeah. No, we did the bike. You're on the bike because we finished with the run. You're on the bike. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to. And of course, he was way ahead of me, but.
Well, the run's the last.
Yeah, we did the run last. And so I'm like, okay, I'm finally off the bike. I'm going to do the run. And I'm like, he's got to be up here somewhere. I'm like, well, I get finished, and he's already in the cool-down tent drinking a cold one. Or what? And I'm like, dude. So I guess my point in you telling that story is Mike, my experience of Mike, athletic, strong, powerful, intelligent, all of those alpha male qualities that I always, hey, I'll just keep up, right? But anyway, that's my experience of Mike. I love Mike Hargraves, and he's my brother in so many ways, and my inspiration in my life in many ways, because I'm like, the guy took care of himself. He was fit. He was, all of these things, and strong. And so then on August 10th of 2019, his life changed. And if you wouldn't mind kind of, again, sharing with us.
So, I don't remember a lot of that day. I've been told a lot of this, so I remember what I've been told. So I don't know if it's accurate. Mm-hmm. But I do know that I do have a distinct memory of sitting in my garage. We were getting ready to go out on the boat. Now, up to this point, I'd gone and filled up the boat with gas. I don't remember doing that. I've gone and, I hooked up the boat. It was hooked up to my truck, sitting in the driveway. and me and a bunch of my friends were in the garage, and for some reason, I just mowed the lawn that day, but for some reason I was fascinated with this air compressor, and I was blowing everybody that walked by me with a blast of air, and I was blowing my face, and I think maybe it was because I was hot.
You're hot. You're overheating.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it. I just was hot. So I was just infatuated with this air compressor, and I kept, everybody that walked past me, I'd give them a squirt of air. And I don't even know why I was doing that. I remember doing that. That's one of the only things I remember.
That's one of the last things you remember.
That is the last thing I remember. Because I don't remember the ride, I don't remember the ambulance, I don't remember any of that.
In that moment, Mike was actually having a cerebral hemorrhage. Yes, and it was a hemorrhage. It was a brain hemorrhage. And Mike doesn't do anything halfway, let me tell you that.
Not even a hemorrhage.
Not even a hemorrhage. And I was one of the ones that actually got to see the CT scans of his brain. And there was a significant amount of blood in the lower chambers, lower parts of his brain. And and one of these days soon, we're also going to get Jessica on this podcast, on the Two Thumbs Up podcast, and talk about her experience, because she's a nurse, and she, in so many ways, saved his life that day. Did save his life that way. And I'm jumping in here again because Mike's already in a different place during these hours of August 10th. And so, he ends up they take him in the hospital. You get life flighted from Utah Valley to IMC, Intermountain Hospital in Murray. And how long were you in the ICU in Murray?
So I don't know for sure. Jessica would be a better person to ask that.
Right.
But I think I was in an induced coma for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. But the first thing I remember after the stroke, the very first thing I remember was Thanksgiving. So August 10th to November 24th or whenever Thanksgiving is, that was my very first memory that I can remember after having that hemorrhage.
And during that whole time, obviously there was many, many, many things going on. Friends are around, families around. We're all involved in some sort of way or another. But Mike has no recollection from August 10th to the first memory being Thanksgiving.
First distinct memory. I mean, there's a few things that I remember, and I don't know when they happened.
Yeah.
Like the one time when that female doctor was talking to my son. Like I have a vague memory of that. And only because it really pissed me off. That was it.
I remember the neurologist there. Yeah. So 8 weeks plus in the ICU in Murray, and then
I don't know if I was in the ICU that long.
That's true. You're in the hospital a long time though. I remember because I have a clinic right on that same road, and I would come over at my lunch break, and you were still Talk to us about some of your initial deficits that you noticed with your body.
Well, I mean, they were significant. So my left leg was completely useless. It was paralyzed. My left hand specifically, was paralyzed. When I say paralyzed, I mean, most people think that's completely unuseful. I mean, I could somewhat move it, but with the help of other people. Like I've got video of me walking down the University of Utah hospital hallway, and there was 3 people, like one on each side and then one behind me, just to get this leg to move forward. So I didn't have muscle in it at all. And
I remember assisting one day in the hospital, and your ability for your trunk of your body to pull yourself upright was very, very negligible. And so we assisted you with that. So you had paralysis, left side, arm, leg.
The entire left side of my body.
entire left side of your body.
Yeah. I mean, my calf atrophied, my hamstring atrophied. I had no calf muscle or hamstring. I still, to this day, don't feel like I have much.
Yeah. And so you had all of those symptoms. How about short-term memory?
Short-term memory is awful. So that was one of the blessings. I never lost my long-term memory. So I don't know how that happened, but it did. Like I literally could, and this was shortly after my stroke, I could remember conversations I had with you 5 years before.
Right.
But I couldn't remember what we ate for breakfast that day.
Yeah. So your short-term memory really struggled.
Yeah.
And that's come a long way.
Yeah.
A long way. I mean, so many things have come a long way, you guys, that it's in so many ways, to me, this is such a miracle story. I was fortunate or unfortunate to meet with some of the doctors in the ICU in a closed-door meeting about his condition. And we got to see the CT scans, and they gave us their opinions on possibilities for his ability to continue to live. And they said it was less than 3%. And if he does survive, that 3% will be in a chair with a breathing apparatus and a feeding tube. And so
Here I am.
we're like, bullshit. That is not going to be the way it's going to be. And so I know Mike Hargraves, and I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps considering what they told me and us and where you're sitting today. And granted, 4.5 years sounds like a long time. However,
Oh, it is.
the result, and there's still work to do, and it's an everyday thing, which I wanted to talk about a little bit too. Is the distance you've come, but what have you learned that if you stop? What if you just stopped doing your exercises and stopped taking,
I'm giving up at that point.
and what happens to your body?
It'll go back to the way it was.
It does that. It reverts to that same pattern. And so I feel like that's one huge message when it comes to people being injured in any capacity, is to stay after it, to stay committed to it, and to stay learning from it, right?
Yeah. So I have a memory of when I first started physical therapy, and I think I was at the U of U hospital, and they were having me grab. It was an exercise of using my left hand, and I had to grab a cone or some kind of cone, and I had to pull it over, and I had to play with it in my hand, and it was so hard for me. Like that was almost impossible, that task. And I remember I have a video of it actually, and I grab it and I'm shaking. First of all, I can barely get to where my hand will grab it, and I'm shaking so bad.
First of all, watch his hand, folks. Look at that thing.
I'm shaking so bad that you can barely even see that it's just shaking super fast, and I can barely hang on to it. Like I have no function in this hand. And I remember thinking, how come my hand doesn't work? How come my arm doesn't work? I just didn't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, none of this was sinking in at that point.
Like your brain hadn't turned on to a point like, I had a stroke.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I had a brain hemorrhage, and that hemorrhage is affecting my body. That never sank
But
in.
you hadn't put those two and two together yet. Wow. And you're already in rehab facility in the hospital. Interesting. What months was that? Do you recall?
It had to be right around October, November.
Well, the first memory you had was November.
Yeah, but I watched these
That's
videos.
true.
These
That's
are videos
true.
that I watched.
Yeah, that's right. And the reason we're doing this and highlighting this is because my intention with Two Thumbs Up podcast is to bring awareness to these situations, to see stories and to see experiences and to share what an individual has learned with this whole process. And I feel like that's, to tell the story is a valuable thing to do. So,
So you watching what I'm doing with my hand? I do
Yeah.
this all the time now.
what does that feel like?
It just feels like awkward. Like
Yeah.
With this hand, it just feels when I do them together, it actually feels more normal.
So,
But this,
tell us
this
about
is just like a lump of meat hanging on my body. It's just not coordinated.
Yeah,
Still like that.
but it's
Getting better.
getting better.
Yeah. Your hands are cold.
My hands are cold. His are warm. That's the irony. That's ironic. So, yeah, man, we can dive into a lot of other things, and I kind of want to save those for another time. But
So one thing you did bring up that I'll touch a little more on is you brought up See, this is part of the problem, short-term memory. Mm-hmm. But you brought up, it was my long-term memory versus my short-term memory.
Right.
So that was a curse too.
Oh, because you started down that road, yeah.
So the long-term memory is a blessing because I think it helped me progress faster. Just being able to remember everything I did, having actual memories of how I did something. Like when we were doing physical therapy here in this office, and I was walking up, I could vividly remember what it felt like to run.
Yeah.
Like I could vividly remember that. And I think that enhanced my ability to do what I was doing.
Yes.